So it all boils down to this, folks. It is the final group games in Euro 2024 as we take a look at matchday number 3 through groups D and F, who of course will come out on top and go through to the knockout stages, who of course will pack their bags and go home. We're going to get into it, all of it, next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video. Today is match number 3, part 2, that's right, as we bring the group games to a complete and utter stop. That's right, some nations are already through to the last 16, some have still got a little work to do. Who, of course, are they? We're going to get into it, all of it, in a second. Of course, big shout out to the VIPs. They are the patrons, you know who you are. And again, if you do, smash the like, 50 likes if you can, and smash the old subscribe. Your one-stop shop for Euro 2024 is right here under one Rooski. We've seen some fantastic football so far, but there's a lot still to be said for this side of the groups here as we take a look at, of course, match number 3, part 2. So let's get into it. Of course, we were talking about this. It is Euro 2024 over in Germany. And we're going to quick recap of how we all got on last time around then. So let's take a little look, first and foremost, at my own predictions. And, of course, the score lines here at the top of the shop. Of course, we've got Group D. We had Poland lose to Austria. I went with a 2-1 win myself. It was actually a 3-1 win going in favour of the Austrians, who, of course, are a bit of the breath of fresh air in this tournament. Meanwhile, what a bit of a damp squib of a game we had between the Dutch and the French. Both come out on top with a 0-0 draw there. I went with the French, got that one wrong. Meanwhile, Ukraine stood up and was counted for 2-1 win over Slovakia. I went with a 0-0 draw myself. Meanwhile, the Romanians were not as good as they were in their first game, but credit where credit's due. They gave it a good account of themselves. A 2-0 loss, though, to Belgium, who are right back in this one. Meanwhile, over into Group F, Georgia got their first and only point with a 1-1 draw against the Czech Republic. So a solid point as well. Got them on spot on the nose. And Portugal with a 2-0 win over Turkey. And one with a 3-0. Ain't too shabby, guys. Quick reminder that we do have a prediction league, and we're going to take a little look at that sucker right here, right now. Alrighty then, folks, let's take a little look at match day number 2, part 2, or whatever it was, and the results of that soccer. Here I am making a nice old steady progress up to the table at 14.5 points this past match day in round 2. Not as great as James OFFC 92. He got 16.5, but Xander's also squeezing in between us and Vinny Hong getting the bronze. But also the next best thing, and that, of course, has made some reverberations in the leaderboard as I am up as high as 7th now. Big mover of 4 spots, but not as big as James OFC in our very own prediction league. Currently, Vinny Hong is the man to catch as we enter match number 3, of course, starting today with, of course, groups A through D, or C, sorry. And then, of course, these games will be coming at you in the next batch. So get in amongst it. It is still free. And, of course, you can still come in here late to the party and deliver a shock, of course. And a quick reminder of those details. They are here on the screen right about now. So that's, of course, the prediction league. Bang up to date we have there. Let's, of course, take a little look at the next round of games. Alrighty then, folks, here we go, of course, into match number 3, part 2, with, of course, groups D, E, and F. I'm going to start right here with Group D, which is still wide open for dominance, but we do have our first casualty in Euro 2024. Say goodbye to Poland, but they still have a match to complete, and that is up against the heavyweights and favourites, La France. So let's get into this one then, shall we? Of course, coming at you on Tuesday, the 25th of June. It will be France, it will be Poland, and it's coming at you at the BVB Stadium on the 25th of June. It's Deschamps against Probiets in the dugout, and these two sides have played each other 8 times since 1966. 4 wins for France, just 1 win for Poland. There's been 3 draws between the two sides. 67% form for the French at the moment, without a defeat in the last 5 matches. The Poles, back-to-back defeats, and like I said, already eliminated from the competition. Now, these two sides did play each other back at the World Cup in Qatar. It was in the round of 16, where, of course, La France came out on top, 3-1 win in that one. The most recent victory for the Poles was back in July 1982. So far, though, it's been a bit of a vanilla tournament for France. They've yet to really get going. An own goal in the game against Austria, no goals against the Dutch in the last one. Can they deliver a performance that is going to get us excited for the French heading into the knockout stages? The bookies, though, have 7-2 on for the French. They are favoured. 90-4 is, of course, the draw, and 9-1 is, of course, your long shots. That's the Poles on this one. Despite the fact that Poland are at this game, I do think they're going to cause some problems and be a bit frustrating for the French. But like I said, we need a performance. We want to get excited excited about the French. And currently, it's a little bit of a struggle. And again, we might see a rotated squad, perhaps. But France, realistically, are not there yet. They could technically still finish in third in this group. And that would, of course, be a nightmare because they would end up with a real difficult round of 16 match. But I am backing the French on this one. I'm going to go with a comfortable 2-0 win, maybe a goal from Mbappe, or maybe not. So it depends on whether or not he'll play or not. Maybe they'll rest him and take the gamble, put him on the bench. We'll see about that. But they, of course, should secure a top 2 spot. But again, goal difference is key here. The Dutch do have some goals against the Poles, which put them in the command at the moment. Let's go, of course, to see the other game, the bigger game. Of course, both matches taking place at the same time. Which game are you going to watch? I'm going to be watching this one, the Dutch up against Austria. I've loved the Austrians so far. Yes, they did lose to the French, but they did bounce back convincingly against Poland. And they're playing with some intensity, and that's what I've loved about them. There's a couple of teams that really have stood out for me. The Swiss, to a little bit, Austria and Romania. They've been my sort of second teams here, and I'm hoping to see all of them make it through to the last 16. Anyway, the Dutch up against Austria at the Olympic Stadium over in Berlin. That's right, Ronald Koeman up against Ralf Rangnick in the dugouts. Now, they have played each other 7 times since 1978, and the Dutch have won all 7 of them. That's a whopping stat and doesn't look good for Austria. There's been no draws either, but the Dutch coming into this on 75% form for them at the moment, just 1 defeat in the last 6. Up against Austria, of course, 1 defeat also in the last 6. That was against La France, that's right. The most recent match between these two sides was back in June 2021. It was a 2-0 win for the Dutch, and that was in the last Euros. Of course, in the COVID Euros, if you know what I mean. 2-0 win it was for the Dutch. Are Austria any better? Of course, it's been back-to-back clean sheets against the Austrians, have the Dutch. And in fact, they've only conceded 1 goal against them over the last 3, and that's stretching all the way back to 2011. Of course, so far for the Dutch, 2-1 win over Poland and a 0-0 draw against La France. Meanwhile, Austria with that unfortunate 1-0 loss to the French and a convincing 3-1 win over Poland. Of course, there are some little bit question marks about the Austrian team at the moment, but the odds currently have 6-5 for the Dutch, 13-5 is your Austria, 21-10 is the draw. I'm expecting a thriller here. Of course, the Dutch win this one. They top the group, put France in a bit of a pickle, and of course, Austria will then I've got it all to do. But I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw in the end. To give the Dutch a point, Austria a point. It kind of leaves it pretty much as it is. But actually flip-flops the Dutch into second spot. The French go top, and then Austria will be through realistically with 4 points in the end. Let's switch gears now to Group E, and again we're left with one of the widest open groups, if not the widest open group in the whole competition. It is, of course, Group E, and we're going to start with Ukraine, who are right back in it, up against Belgium. That's right, and that's going to come at you at the Stuttgart Arena. Now, these two nations have never played each other, of course, according to my data, but it'll be Rebrov against Tedesco in the dugouts. Ukraine on 58% form for them at the moment, just 1 defeat in the last 3. Of course, that was earlier in the competition. Belgium also 1 defeat in the last 6. 67% form for them heading into this one. So far, Ukraine, they were pretty shitty against Romania, 3-0 loss there, but they bounced back, showed some tenacity against Slovakia, where they came from behind in that game, 2-1 win to give themselves 3 points, a massive 3 points, also chipped away at their goal deficit, which leaves them currently bottom of the pile in this group bottom. Meanwhile, Belgium, they come into this on the back of that 2-0 win over Romania, bounce back on that one. A 1-0 loss to Slovakia, though, is not the tonic they want to start this tournament with. But this does have a little bit of a feel to that Argentina-Saudi Arabia vibe here, because I thought Belgium were fantastic against Romania and could have had 5 or 6 goals, to be fair. But got to give credit where credit is due for Romania. They did fight back into it and made them a little bit sweaty towards the end of it. So I think Belgium are going to go under the radar following on from that defeat, and I think they're going to beat Ukraine here quite convincingly, 3-1, which will, of course, take another significant damage to their goal deficit, and, of course, will eliminate Ukraine in this scenario. I can't see another way where Ukraine will leapfrog Slovakia in this process. But meanwhile, let's take a little look then at the bookies odds for this one. We currently have Ukraine at 10-3 for the victory. 10-3 is the draw. 10-7 on is your Belgium. Now, of course, this Belgium team, or the performance so far, has given me Argentina vibes a little bit from the World Cup, where they did lose their first game and then started to blow the nations out of the water. The performance against Romania was fantastic, and of course, if you do look back at that performance against Slovakia, Belgium were realistically the more attacking in that side, and realistically should have won against Slovakia. So I'm gonna back the Belgians here to bounce back, and I think they're going to be a team to fear because they got the team cooking right now. Lukaku looks mean and nasty up front. Of course, denied a few goals already, but he's got the taste. He's got that bit between the teeth, and I think you're going to be keeping an eye out for Belgium in this competition as it develops. But I'm going to go with a 3-1 win, which will of course eliminate Ukraine from the Euros, and they'll join Poland on the scrap heap. Meanwhile, we go to the second game. It'll be Slovakia up against Romania. What a game we have here, and a game that could still decide who tops this group. It'll take place at the Frankfurt Arena. Slovakia under Calzona up against Romania and Ionescu. That's right. Played each other 7 times since 1994. There's been no wins for Slovakia, 4 wins for Romania, 3 draws so far. Slovakia on 58% form for them at the moment. Just 1 defeat in the last 5 up against the Romanian side. 42% form for them right now. Just 1 win in 6. That's crazy. There have been a breath of fresh air in this tournament. A great performance against Ukraine. Even though they did lose to Belgium, I thought they were exciting to watch and were a little bit hard done by not to score themselves. They play good football, and it's what you want. You want to watch the best teams. You want to watch the most entertaining football, and we're getting it with Romania, with Georgia, with Austria. So that's what it's all about. It's not necessarily the big heavyweights, but of course Romania are still in this one, and they currently top the group in Group E, and a win for them would actually see them top the group, depending on the goal difference, I think. I think the goal difference is going to be massive, and Belgium's performance against Ukraine could hamper the fact of the result against, this result here. Anyway, let's take a look at it. 7 times, 4 victories for Romania, 3 draws. The most recent match was a 1-1 draw back in August 2013. It was a friendly. It was in Romania. It's actually been back-to-back draws for Romania over Slovakia. Slovakia opened up with that 1-0 win over Belgium, and they, of course, followed that up with a 2-1 loss to Ukraine. Meanwhile, Romania with the 3-0 win over Ukraine and the 2-0 loss to Belgium, of course. The odds for this one, heading into this one, Slovakia 11-5 for the victory, 13-5 is your Romania. They are actually unfancied here. Slovakia favoured, and 11-10 is the draw. So Slovakia, according to the bookies, are favoured here. I'm not buying it. I think Romania are great. I think, again, it is vital they get the lead in this one. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for Romania, which, if my mathematics is correct, which I don't know it is, it should see Romania through. But, and it also should, it may, I don't know. It may see them go through as group winners. I don't know. I think that maybe the result against Belgium may hamper that. So this may not be a 100%, this graphic. I think technically Belgium should be above Romania because Belgium beat Romania, if you know what I mean. Anyway, that's of course over in Group E. Let's switch gears now to Group F. And we have some bangers as well. We're going to start with probably a dead rubber in everyone's eyes. It is Georgia up against Portugal coming at the Arena. Schalke, that's right. That's these two nations. Georgia under Sagnol against Portugal under Roberto Martinez. They have played each other just the one time, according to my data, and that was in 2008. Georgia, though, 58% form for them right now, just 1 defeat in the last 5. Up against the Portugal side, who've won 3 matches on the bounce. Of course, that most recent match, or the only match, was back in May 2008. It was a 2-0 win for Roberto Martinez and Portugal. And that was, of course, in a friendly. Georgia started off with that 3-1 loss to Turkey. They did bounce back with a 1-1 draw against Czechia. Do they realistically have any hope in getting a result from Portugal, who are already through and who are already through as group winners? They're likely to change it up a little bit here, maybe even play a weakened side, or not necessarily weakened side, but a second string side, maybe a different goalkeeper, maybe rest a few key players. What you would probably expect is Ronaldo to play because he is a stat man, wants another cap, wants another goal. He wants his first goal in this competition. So I think he will play regardless of the fact that they are through. Anyway, as for Portugal, they're coming into this on the back of that 2-1 win over Czechia and then a 3-0 win over Turkey, where they were pretty good and very comfortable throughout that match. So I am... Quick look at the bookies' odds then, shall we, on this one? The bookies have Georgia 13-2 for the victory, Portugal 5-2 on, and of course the draw is at 4-1. We're going to back Portugal on this one comfortably, convincingly, 3-0 win. I've got to say, Georgia have been fantastic. They're very much one of the most entertaining sides, going for broke in all their games, and we're going to miss them. We're going to miss them as we enter the knockout stages. Portugal will be there, Georgia will not, and they will go out as a group, a wooden spoon here. 4th place for Georgia, unfortunately. Then, of course, we go over to the banger. That is, of course, the Czech Republic up against Turkey. Win to stay in, win to be runner-up. Of course, the chances are as well, it's actually more pressure on the Czech Republic to get a result as they're coming into this just on 1 point. The likelihood is that we may see both these nations come through anyway. A draw, though, could see the Czech Republic go out. So Turkey haven't got as much pressure. They can rely on a draw to get themselves through, and it would eliminate Czechia. But anyway, it's taking place at the Volkspark Stadium in Hamburg. Czechia up against Turkey. It's Hasic up against Montella in the dugout. 9 times they have played each other since 2003. 3 wins for Czechia, 5 wins for Turkey, and 1 draw, of course. Czechia, though, 75% form for them at the moment. Just a back-to-back games, though, without a win. Up against the Turkey side, 25% form for them as well. Just 1 win in the last 6 matches. The most recent match between these two sides was a friendly back in November 2022. It was a 2-1 win for Turkey. In fact, Turkey have won 3 on the spin. In fact, they've just conceded 1 goal against them over those last 3 matches. The most recent competitive game was in the Euros back in 2016, where Turkey came on top with a 2-0 win. They've been good as well. They've been entertaining, and they've been entertaining for both scoring goals and for a bit of nightmare at the back. But Czechia with a 2-1 loss to Portugal and only a draw against Georgia, which could hamper them if they are to make it through to the last 16. As for Turkey, 3-1 win over Georgia, a 3-0 loss to Portugal. They do come into this on negative goal difference at the moment. A quick look at the bookies' odds right here, right now. We have the Czech Republic 6-4 for the victory, 12-5 is the draw, 9-5 is your Turkey. So maybe the Czech Republics are slightly favoured in this one. But I, of course, am going to go sit on the fence here. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw, which does Turkey wonders. It kind of hampers actually Czech Republic and puts them in a bit of a pickle into 3rd space with just 2 points. Is it going to be enough? It's unlikely, and we may see the end for Czech Republic in Euro 2024. Quick recap of my predictions then. A 2-0 win for the French over Poland. We have a 2-2 draw between the Dutch and Austria. We have Romania 2-0 win over Slovakia. We have a Belgian 2-1 win over Ukraine. We have Portugal beating Georgia 3-0 and the draw between Czech Republic and Turkey. And another quick recap, a quick punt, pick promo for the Prediction League is 100% free. Get involved. See if you now predict me, the Prediction King. I'm starting to bubble, guys. Starting to bubble at just the right time. Anyway, smash the like, smash the subscribe, 50 to 100 likes if we can on these prediction videos. Absolutely fantastic support on the channel. I really do love it. Until then, though, we'll be back, of course, for those knockouts when, of course, we get the final whistles in these matches over in Group F and beyond. That's right. Till then, subscribe, smash the like. I'll see you soon for the next one.